Hey guys, Jill here. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farms. I'm out in my greenhouse today. It's a little chilly, so I got my cup of coffee. But this video, we are going to jump into a question I get asked every single week. I get asked this question on our YouTube comments, on Instagram messages. I get a lot of emails. We also have friends who come over and they just want to pick our brains and they want to know, how do you start a YouTube channel? What advice do you have? What is the upfront cost? What do you recommend? So I get asked this question so much that I thought, you know what? Let's just do a video on it. Let me just tell you guys my advice and some of the things that I have been taught and told myself and applied them and really figured out, hey, this is good information. I do not believe that you need to spend thousands of dollars to start a YouTube channel. In fact, I'm going to tell you that that's bad business. I'm going to tell you not to do that, and we'll jump into that later. But the whole point of this video is to give you all the advice and knowledge I have on how to start a YouTube channel with minimal equipment and a good idea in place. So let's get started. First off, I would recommend you guys grab a notepad and a pen just to jot down these things. That way you're not having to go back through. If something maybe stands out to you, put it down. I'm a huge proponent of just writing things down. By all means, you can just have your phone, jot it down in your phone, whatever works best for you. But if something clicks with you and you think, oh, that makes sense, or oh, I'd want to try that, even if you have a YouTube channel now and maybe you're struggling to get momentum or whatever, I just hope that this video maybe streamlines some of those things, maybe helps you get creative, create good, consistent content. So just jot it down however that works best for y'all. So let's speak to the dreamer real quick, the person who is sitting on the other end of this and you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Maybe you've had that idea pop up in your head. Y'all know, if you've been following my channel for any time, I am a yes fan. I am a dreamer. If you need someone to like rally behind your dreams, let me know, because I am that person. I am a huge proponent of dreaming big, and I think that totally applies to YouTube. Dream big, but before you start dreaming in, you really want to execute your vision well. And so that would be the first thing I would recommend. Figure out what story you want to get across. You want your channel to be consistent in whatever it is. So for me, when I started a YouTube channel, I knew that I wanted it to be about gardening and farming. I also knew that I didn't have a lot of content in the winter. Like, we don't grow a lot. This year's the biggest winter garden I've ever had, but when I started my YouTube, we didn't even do a fall or winter garden. So I knew on the front end, okay, I can do these educational how-to tips and tricks in the spring and summer, which is really what I was passionate about, is not just taking you guys along in our life, but also teaching you. But I knew that I couldn't sustain that in the winter. Now, to be consistent with YouTube and the algorithm and everything, you can't just, put out all this good content in the spring and the summer and then just totally slack off in the winter. You are definitely going to pay, and there are going to be negative consequences to doing that. So I thought, well, if I just put out an educational based channel, I'm gonna have a hard time sustaining that with content through the winter. So I decided early on, in the spring and the summer, I would emphasize more on gardening, how to, advice, things like that, educational videos. And then I would still throw in every single week weekly vlogs, like, or a daily vlog where you just hang out with me and my family and you get invested in our lives. And I knew that I would have to kind of switch. And when it came the slower months in the winter, I would emphasize more on just my family, how we're cooking the produce. I've even done videos of just Nathan and I cooking, fermenting, hanging out with our family. And I think that I created that with intention because I knew I couldn't sustain those educational videos 12 months out of the year, but I could several months out of the year. But then you guys are so sweet and you guys love on our family and you're invested in our family, that when I didn't have that educational content, I just switched over to those daily vlogs, and you guys received it well because you were used to seeing those even in the hustle and the bustle of the educational videos, if that makes sense. So regardless of what you're wanting your channel to be about, have a clear idea and make sure you paint a really clear picture. You don't want to, 1 week be talking about farming and then the next week you're talking about like flipping houses, and because then you're audience is wondering, okay, is this a channel about gardening or is this a channel about flipping houses? You want it to just kind of be consistent. Even if you know you can't sustain educational content year round, make sure you're intentional with throwing in those daily vlogs. That way when you do have to switch, it's a really smooth transition. So once you've figured out the vision of your channel and what you want to portray, the story you want to tell to your audience, make sure you're consistent. Now, this is something that I'm telling you because I was not. When I first started YouTube, I would shoot a video every now and then when I had spare time, and they just weren't good. I would post 3 videos a week, and then I'd post 1 video a month, and I would have people commenting, when are you going to put out videos? Or, you know, why couldn't you keep putting out videos? And it just really left my audience really confused when they could expect content from me. It also really was hard for them to get engaged with my family because I was really consistent, and then I'd drop off the face of the planet. And granted, like, I had a baby in there, and so that was really hard trying to figure that out. And instead of just doing a video, hey, I'm 41 weeks pregnant, we're gonna be having our baby girl soon. If you don't see content from me in the next few weeks, this is why. I'll give you guys an update on when we plan on releasing our next video. That would have been a really good way if you're planning on taking a break or a vacation. Let your audience know that. Instead, I was shooting, you know, putting out videos, and then I had our baby, and then I just stopped. And that was really bad. Every time you do that, just think you're having to regain that audience. So I might have had a decent audience. When I just left them hanging, I lost all of them. For all they knew, I deleted my YouTube. I didn't even exist anymore. I'm no longer in that algorithm with YouTube. I'm no longer like showing up on their YouTube. So that is something that I really encourage. Even if you just post once a week or once a month, it is better for you to post 1 video a week 4 times a month than post 4 videos in 1 week and nothing for the rest of the month. You guys will kind of dabble into figuring out how the algorithm of YouTube works. I'm still really bad at it. Like, I am just not good at it. But I know that whenever I made the commitment to start shooting and releasing videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I saw a huge jump in the subscribers to my channel, the engagement, the views. It just really was a game changer. And if I'm out of town or something, I'll shoot a video and schedule it, so that's nice too, that I can just always stay on that consistent path. If this is new to you, I would recommend starting small and then growing to something that you can sustain. So say you just release 1 video a week. I think that that is really good. It allows you to try to figure out your editing, what you want to talk about, generating content. So I would always lean on the side of caution and maybe under put out than over put out, because if you over put out and then you can't sustain that, you're also kind of in a pickle. So I did not do 3 videos a week for a long time. For a very long time, I just did 1 video a week because that's all I could sustain. When views go back up, which is usually around February and seed starting season, for me, people are starting their things, I may jump up to daily content if I can sustain that. For me, the thought of daily posting, those of you who you have channels that you do, or you know YouTubers that put out daily content, you really need to love on those people. It takes a lot of work just thinking about content, editing every single day, posting every single day. They are being extremely intentional. And I just don't have the time. With raising littles and homeschooling, daily content seems wild to me. I would love to be at a place where I could, and the creativity was flowing enough to where I felt like I had daily content to share with you guys. But just know, if you follow someone right now who's putting out daily content, hats off to them, because they truly are killing it. Alright, so we talk about figure out the vision for your channel. Figure out how often you want to put out content. Be consistent with that. Another thing I get asked, well, I can't do YouTube because I don't have this camera or this equipment or this equipment. Let me just go ahead and debunk that for you. You can 100% start a YouTube channel with this right here, with your iPhone, your Android, whatever you have. And this is a really good option. This is actually what I recommend, because say you went out and you spent $1,000 on a camera and you bought, this really nice Canon or Nikon, and it was great for videoing, and you start doing it and you realize, oh, I thought I was going to love this, and I just don't. You guys know I'm a budgeter. I'm a huge proponent for staying on a budget. So for me, it doesn't make sense to go spend thousands of dollars in equipment on something that, one, I'm not sure I'm gonna like. I'm not sure that it's actually gonna work for my family. I just don't think that you should be out that expense or go in debt, in my opinion, for something that you're still working through and trying to figure out. Just like, for instance, my kid tries a sport. She's never played that sport before. She doesn't know if she likes it. By all means, try it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Let's figure out something that you do like. So you could start a YouTube channel, think you're gonna love it, but turns out you really don't. You'd rather invest your time writing a book or, you know, doing a podcast or something like that. So I recommend start on your phone. I started on my phone, and I remember the quality wasn't great. I actually ended up upgrading to this iPhone 11, which the video quality was fantastic. I had a $10 tripod that I bought on Amazon. I'll link it below. And it worked. There are things that I had to figure out, like with your phone. You definitely want to look at your phone when you are shooting a video just so that the sound comes across clear. So I did have to work through some of those kinks. The good thing about an iPhone is that every iPhone comes with iMovie. So that's a free editing software that you're not having to buy or pay for. That was also big when you're trying to figure these things out. If you have, you know, a Mac or something like that, like laptop, you can just sync it and you can edit it on iMovie on your laptop, which is free. I don't have a Mac, so I was literally editing my videos on my phone. It did prove to be challenging, but I also learned that if I'm gonna stay dedicated to editing a video on my phone, then I'm probably going to stay dedicated enough when the time comes to upgrade to a camera or something like that. You know, you kind of figure out where you lie in those things. And I can tell you, the videos, the quality's good. You know, the editing was bad, and that was because of me. Like, I didn't know how to edit well. But the quality on the phone was totally fine. I had several garden tours back in the summer that had 10, 13,000 views from an iPhone. So by all means, don't think you have to buy fancy equipment to get started, because I truly just don't think that's true. GoPro is a really good option. A lot of you guys may even have GoPros. Try that. I personally don't like a GoPro because I've got on the side of my camera a lens where I can see what's in the frame. You can't see that, but depending on what your channel's about, say you are doing a channel on fishing and hunting, a GoPro is perfect. You can just strap it on your head or wherever, and I think it is a great option. So once you kind of figure out, truly, like, get those steps right, figure out your content, you can kind of know everything else that's going to fall in line and work best for you and what you're wanting to get across. So let's say that you have already started a YouTube channel and you're wanting to figure out how to kind of get to that next level. Maybe you've been shooting on your phone, you know you're consistent, you're ready to step up to the next level. This is my advice to you. Do it. If you've proved to yourself that you are consistent, you're passionate about doing it, absolutely invest in what's going to work for you. I remember I was shooting on my phone and I was getting kind of discouraged because a lot of people were commenting that they couldn't hear right because I never looked in the camera. I still get comments to this day, you don't ever look at the camera when you're talking, you always look away. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's something that I always try to consciously think about, but it's hard. And so I remember thinking, I really want to take this to the next level. I don't really know what to do and where to go. And thankfully we have friends who are just like gold. And I went to Jess and Maya's house one day and I was helping them just do farm chores. They had a lot of things going on, and Nathan and I were like, let us just come over and just like work on the farm and help you. And they gave me a Canon M50 that they didn't use anymore. And it had the tripod, I'll link all it below, and they were like, here, take this and just get started. You need to buy a mic, but you know, you've proven that you're staying consistent with this. I really think that this is just going to allow your videos to be at the next level and kind of help the whole editing troubleshooting issue. The bad thing about a phone is I was getting, you know, all the storage alerts because I had taken thousands and thousands of videos and everything like that. So that was becoming a problem as I was trying to shoot several times a week and things like that. A Canon M50 is amazing for someone starting out. I used an M50 for a really long time. I did buy a mic. I have a roadie is how I think you say it. I'll link all this stuff below. So I got the mic, the tripod Jess and Maya gave me, and the camera they gave me, which was really nice. You can buy these used though. You can buy them like refurbished, I think. And they're not super, super expensive when you think about like how expensive cameras and equipment can get. And I used that for a really long time until the camera ended up dying and I had to think about getting another camera. So a Canon M50, or you can find something equivalent to that, is where it's at. A mic does help. Looking directly into the camera when you're talking does help. And then finding a good editing software that works for you. If you have a Mac, use a Mac. iMovie's completely free. I think that works well. I personally use Filmora 9. There is a free version of Filmora, but it has like the Filmora watermark on the bottom, and I didn't really like that. Once I kind of watched a lot of YouTube videos and figured out how to work Filmora, that was also kind of a learning curve. I would just encourage you guys, if maybe you're struggling with it, watch some videos on it, stay consistent, because once it clicks, it becomes a lot easier. And I bought the lifetime supply of the editing software, and it was like $60 or $70, and I have access to that for a lifetime. I do know that there is an Adobe Premiere that I have friends use that work well. I would just ask questions to other people. Hey, what editing software do you use? What do you like? Maybe if they're a close friend, like go see and get a feel of like their Filmora or Adobe or iMovie or whatever, and figure out what's going to work best for you. I didn't want to do iMovie because I'd have to buy a Mac, and that's a really expensive computer, so that didn't make sense to me. I went back and forth between the Filmora and Adobe, and Filmora just made sense. It was really user-friendly, and the price point was really nice. So that's why I chose it. There's a lot of features on there I don't know how to use. I will probably never know how to use. I'm a very basic editor, but if you're one who likes to get into all the videography of editing and things like that, I'm sure there may be a better option. I don't know. I literally just found out how to put an info card in my videos, and I was like, what? And that's not even in my editing software. So I'm like really basic with my editing and things like that, but you guys explore that and just know I would use the free version. I did use the free version of Filmora several times until I got the hang of it and realized, okay, this is worth me paying. I like this. I think I can navigate this well. Then I ended up buying the lifetime one. Alright, I know I've been coming at you guys with all sorts of just like bam, these are my advice, this is my tips, what have you. But I do want to take a second because I feel like this is the most important thing, most important advice I can give someone wanting to start YouTube. And that is, be completely authentic. You have got to be true to yourself, true to your values. And if you don't have that, in my opinion, I feel like you've missed the boat, because I will literally not shoot a video one day if I'm having to put on a front. You guys know I'm kind of just a bubbly personality. Sometimes I just wake up in a bad mood, and sometimes I'm like, I'm not feeling this, you know? And I'm not about to grab my camera and turn the on switch on and then be like, oh, hey, because that's not real. I'm struggling, I'm having a bad day. I'm gonna like get myself and my mind right, and then I'll maybe just shoot again tomorrow. Same if you're doing family type vlogs. I'm not going to have just had an argument with Nathan and be like, well, hey, we got to get it together because I've got to shoot a vlog. Doesn't work that way. The good thing about that though is when your life is public and you're sharing your life with other people, you resolve those conflicts much sooner because you want things to be well. So I have found that it works well for us. If there's conflict with Nathan and I, or there's conflict with my children, I want to resolve that quickly because that's what Christ has called me to do. But then I also want to portray our real lives to you guys. You know, we're not perfect, and I let you guys know that. I had someone ask me before, do you clean your house before you do vlogs inside? And I'm like, no, because that is not me. I'm a messy person. If I had to clean my house before I took you guys inside of it, we all just never see my house. And so I'm like, absolutely not, because that's not authentic. If you came to my house, I would pick up, but it's still, we live there. I have 3 children. Like, we live on a farm. We work on our farm. Like, that doesn't make sense, and it's not true. And I want to paint a very honest, transparent representation of my faith and my family and what we believe in and our values. And I feel like when you do that, you may not appeal to everybody, but you're staying true to yourself, and the people that you do appeal to, it's richer. The audience just becomes much richer. The people that I have found on here who have thanked me for expressing my faith have really encouraged me, because when I was first starting YouTube, I didn't. I thought, well, I can keep them different. And you may choose to do that, and that's totally fine. But God teaches me a lot in my garden. And just by living on a farm, I see God's beauty and His grace and His provision. And so for me, I'm like, I can't teach you guys and show you about the garden without sharing with you how much I thank God for that. Like for me, it had to go hand in hand because they do go hand in hand. And so for several months starting out, I was trying to differentiate those. And I remember Nathan and I did a Q&A and someone asked me, are you religious people? And I felt a lot of conviction, and I thought, God, I am so sorry. If someone didn't know that, if it wasn't evident enough that I believe in you through my vlogs, why am I doing this? Because at the end of the day, everything I have comes from God and belongs to God, and He deserves the glory for everything. That's how we truly believe. And so once I started being bold in that and thinking, okay, God, I'm going to use this platform that you've given me to teach people how to grow food, to show people your goodness and your grace and your mercy and your kindness and all the things that He is, I realized that more people started joining our family because they don't get that in the world. You know, a lot of times you see negativity and things like that, and I realized, oh, something I've been so scared of sharing has brought me the richest friendships, has allowed, you know, God to work through me and show me so many things that had I not been obedient and felt that conviction, that I would have never found before. So I encourage you, whatever it is you believe in, whatever it is you're passionate about, don't have restraints on that, because God is going to use that, and He's going to use that for His glory and to reach people. And so I encourage you, be authentic with that. Be authentic with your family. I am a huge believer that we do not have the right way. I mean, I will show you guys and teach you my way. I get a lot of advice from you guys. And I think staying in that humble mentality, like I don't know it all. You guys help me. I'll teach you what I know. You teach me what you know. It just allows a lot of grace instead of saying, this is the way to do it. If you don't do it this way, it's the wrong way. Instead, flipping that and being like, this is the way I do it. It may not be the right way. If you have a better way, please let me know. It's more welcoming. It's more inviting. It's more relatable and real. And so I would encourage you guys, once you figure out the direction you want your channel to go and all the different things, just be authentic with that. Love on people well. Teach them well, be genuine, and I truly feel like you're setting a really good foundation for a really successful YouTube channel. Alright guys, I truly appreciate you all hanging out with me today, listening to my tips and advice. They may not be the right ones, but it's just what I have found has helped me over the last year or so as I've been trying to navigate and figure out YouTube. If you guys have questions, just link them below and we'll be sure to get to them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll talk to you soon.